Andor was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Even though it got off to a rather underwhelming beginning, it's one of the few modern Star Wars projects that left me wanting more. Furthermore, it accomplished what I believed to be impossible, that being actually making me care about the titular character Cassian Andor. Personally, I found him largely uninteresting in Rogue One, but points to Disney for making me come around. Anyway, it's time to get into the meat of this video, where I'll talk about both the good and bad that Andor had to offer. So if you enjoy, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for future content. So Andor's first episodes were very mediocre. The plot, which boiled down to a criminal trying to get the hell out of Dodge while being pursued by an overzealous cop, felt incredibly cliche. But then episode 3 rolled around and I started to see tremendous potential for the series. The juxtaposition between past and present was absolutely masterful, and seeing the first signs of a collective rebellion was so satisfying. But if I was to choose a highlight for the series, I'd say episode 10 was the strongest in the season. The prison break was cool as hell, Andy Serkis putting his acting chops to work was phenomenal to see, and Luthen's speech was totally badass. Another overall positive for the series was that for once the soundtrack didn't strike me as a lazy retread of classic Star Wars themes in an attempt to trigger the nostalgia feels in the audience. The music hit hard, there were no pointless cameos, and the cinematography was gorgeous. So what were the downsides for the series? Well, firstly, this isn't actually a criticism, but more so a point of confusion on my part. So many people seem to praise the show for its political intrigue. It's even officially labeled as political cinema. But the reality is that politics plays such a small role in the series. The only character actually involved in politics is Mon Mothma, and in all honesty, I found her plotline to be one of the least interesting. So I'm genuinely confused as to why people praise the show for such a minimal aspect instead of giving it credit for one of its actual positives. But getting back to Mon Mothma, my criticism with the character is that because politics are left largely unexplored, Mothma is never really given a chance to shine. Instead, for the most part, she's reduced to sitting around whining about her money problems, which is disappointing because Mothma deserved better. And really the only interest I could garner for the character was regarding her obvious disapproval of traditions within her own culture. But getting to Cyril, I found myself wondering what on earth the point of his character was. After episode 3, his role was essentially filled by Dedra. Plus, watching him go crawling to his mother or fawn over Dedra just makes him look pathetic. But ultimately, my biggest concern for this series is that in the end, it will turn out to be too little too late. It's no secret that Disney has been drawing in less and less views with every project they announce. After all, there's only so much time you can spend spitting on your fan base by constantly feeding them crap before it comes back to bite you. For me, the anger and exhaustion I experience as a Star Wars fan is very real, and ultimately the only reason I keep up with modern Star Wars at all is because a part of me feels obligated to do so. But even though I and others recognize and appreciate the obvious effort that went into making Andor, I don't think Disney will ever gain back the viewers they lost. Because the reality is that Andor is the exception. Tales of the Jedi dropped not that long ago, and it was garbage. The Ahsoka show and Bad Batch Season 2 will eventually come out, and doubtless they'll be garbage too. Because Disney simply isn't capable of turning out consistently good work when it comes to Star Wars. So it's almost worse given how good Andor was, because I feel like I'm being given false hope. I will happily watch Season 2 when it drops, but after witnessing opportunity after opportunity for modern Star Wars to make a turnaround turnarounds slip by, I'm not going to assume that this signifies any sort of positive change for the franchise. I've been let down too many times for that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment down below letting me know if you share the same worries. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future content. And if you're interested in becoming a patron, you can find the link in the description. I'm your Alibi, and I will see you next time.